50mm deep carbon wheels with 24mm hooked internals and carbon bladed spokes, claiming a weight of under 1,200 grams, all for just £350. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, that's what wheel brand Kore are claiming for their latest wheel set. So in today's video, I'm going to be seeing if these wheels live up to their crazy claim specs, or yeah, if it's too good to be true. First job, let's crack the box open and see what we're working with. So yeah, the wheels we're looking at today are from a brand called Kore. And this is one I haven't really heard of before, but I've noticed have started to pop up on AliExpress. And with claim specs this crazy, I just had to check them out. And just so you know, I did buy these with my own money. These are just what you'll receive in the post if you buy a set of wheels like this. The box has definitely arrived in a bit of a beaten up shape, but hopefully they survived the journey over from China okay. And that's already quite a nice little inclusion. They come with a free set of TPU tubes. And then we've also got another little package, and I think they say they include some spare spokes. Yep, 4 spare carbon spokes, which is a really welcome inclusion as it's often quite hard to get specific replacements for carbon spokes. And that is one of the main criticisms of having these sort of proprietary carbon spoked wheels. I can't see any brands on them, but to be honest with you, I wouldn't be expecting branded spokes at this price point. Oh, and before we get the wheels out of the box, they do also include some tubeless tape, which means, unfortunately, these wheels will not be pre-taped. And cracking the wheels out themselves, they come in nice little bits of polystyrene packaging, and oh my God, they feel light. So I think we're starting with the rear wheel. Oh, and a cassette spacer, but here we go. Kore Cyclones. Something like some weird cling film wrap inside. Get this packaging off. Okay, so nice. While they don't come with tubeless tape installed, they do come with a standard like inner tube sort of fabric tape in the rim bed. So if you want to just use the TPU tubes, you're all right. And yeah, actually I have to say they look really quite smart, and it's got a proper ratchet free hub with a nice little anti-bite ring. Seems to be spinning all right. Proper stuff that is. Let's take a look at the front wheel. And here's the front wheel, obviously feeling even lighter. Interesting packaging choice, this cling film wrap. But yeah, wow. Nice stuff. Nice feeling spoke tensions. And yeah, while I'm not normally one for like over-the-top branding, I have to say, the decals on these rims are pretty tasteful. I don't think they're too in your face. And yeah, they feel feathery light. So yeah, taking a look at the spokes, they all are obviously bladed carbon affairs, but they're not like crazy aggressive blading. And what a lot of you would be glad to see is if we look at the hubs, they do use captive hubs. So a criticism of a lot of these early gen carbon spoke wheels was the hubs were non-captive, which meant in the unlucky event you snapped a spoke and your wheels lost tension, well, all your other spokes could just fall out. At least with a captive hub, if you did snap one spoke, you've got a decent chance of being able to come to a stop without a complete wheel failure and causing you to have a pretty nasty crash. So that is always a good thing to see. And they use sort of a standard exposed nipple, which you should be able to tighten all right since it is not a sealed rim bed. I'm torn on whether I prefer sealed rim beds. For a wheel that just works, obviously it's a lot easier to not have to deal with taping or anything, but it does make maintenance on your spokes easier when you have access to the nipples internally rather than just external access. Taking the hubcaps off, yeah, this is one of the common criticisms with these Chinese wheels. They are bone dry around where the bearings are. So I would definitely recommend getting some sort of grease in there. To be fair, it's not just Kore that do this. Literally every pair of these cheap Chinese wheels have the same problem. So before I ride them, I will be packing some more grease in. You can feel it with the back wheel too. Let's see what this free hub sounds like. I bet it's absolutely bone dry as well. And as with all Chinese wheels these days, they are using a ratchet style free hub. I think this one is a 36 tooth. You do have an option to spec a 60 tooth, but to be honest with you, for road wheels, 36 tooth point of engagement is plenty enough. There is really no point upgrading above that. I think that's enough chat. You just want to see me get them on the scales right. Let's see if they actually are sub 1200 gram wheels. So to keep things fair, considering most wheels don't include the weight of the tape, I'm going to remove this fabric tape just so I can get a good comparison with other wheel sets. So scale zeroed, let's have a look. Front wheel clocking at 564.9 grams and stacking the rear on top. Let's see if I can do this. 1224.4 grams. So yeah, not quite tipping under 1200, but to be fair on Kore, like that is still feathery light for the price and about comparative with my Farsports Evo S5 wheels, which I think cost about 3 times the price. So to be able to get these sorts of specs for just £350 is absolutely wild. But of course, as much as I like to think it is, weight is not everything when it comes to a set of wheels. So I better get these set up and get out and ride them and see whether they feel any good out on the road. And since these are a weight focused wheel, to keep things nice and light, I'm going to be running GP 5000s and TPU tubes as, yeah, I don't want to be messing around with any sealant today. You saw how much of a mess I made when I was setting up my Trek the other week. They weren't too bad to get the tyres on, which is always a nice sign. Let's do the front one now. Just can't believe how light these wheels are. I used to think that my 1400 gram zips were light. These things just blow that out of the water. And genuinely, they make my Farsports, which I thought were the best wheels I've ever seen, not look so special anymore. Right, and that is both wheels set up. Let's get them inflated and get them on a bike ready to ride. Yes, they do look pretty phenomenal there with them GP 5000s. I'm so excited to get these out on the road and see what they ride like. Now, of course, it wouldn't be fair to throw a heavy 105 cassette on such a lightweight set of wheels. So I'm going to be using this really, really light Goldix monoblock cassette that I've just got in for testing. It uses a very similar design to the Speed Hour ones I love, with a fully steel construction and a bit of an aluminium spider at the back. But that should mean the teeth last absolutely ages on this. Oh, and did I mention it's also 12 speed? Right, we've got the Kores on the timeout duos. Let's go out for a test ride. It's going to be a hard 4x4 training session, so this will be a good one to really put them through their paces. All right, so that is the first session on these new Kore wheels done. And I have to say, they were feeling absolutely incredible. Whilst my legs weren't brilliant, I was doing a 4x4 on them, yeah. I was struggling to get above 360 watts. But yeah, these wheels were absolutely solid. Genuinely can't tell the difference between these and my Farsports. You know, for such a cheap price. I think when I was looking earlier today, you can now get them for about 300 quid delivered when you use some good discount codes on AliExpress. That is just phenomenal for such an incredible set of wheels. Not had any issue with stability. Yeah, they're stiff, they're carbon spoke wheels, but no problems with comfort. I mean, I did today's session out in the Cat and Fiddle, which is a pretty smooth road, but I did do a bit of a warm up, a bit of a rougher climb, and yeah, still no problems on the bike. They look incredible on the time. I just cannot believe how cheap they are. Is everybody else just ripping you off for wheels these days? Also, if you've ever ridden up a steep climb on a lightweight set of wheels like these, you'll know just how magical they feel. It's genuinely an experience you can't compare to much else on a bike. Every pedal stroke, they just move with ease. Especially on gradients like this, up above 10%, where you're out the saddle, putting the power down. Yeah, and the fact that these wheels mean you get that experience without having to spend thousands of pounds, that's awesome to me. This is where a real stiff, responsive set of wheels really comes into its own. And to say it again, I genuinely can't feel the difference between these and my $1,500 Farsports. It shocks me just how awesome these wheels are. Right, so we're back from testing and I've probably spent around 7 hours riding these Kore wheels over the last few days and I've got a lot of thoughts about them. First things first, I want to address the comfort because when you're buying a carbon spoke set of wheels, one of the biggest concerns is they're going to be a really harsh, overly stiff ride feel. But genuinely, I've not had a problem. Now, I am quite tolerant to pretty aggressive bikes, but I've found them perfectly comfortable enough. Like today, I did a near 5-hour endurance ride on them, and yeah, not a problem, which given the state of the roads around the Peak District at the minute is really saying something. I didn't feel like I was being absolutely beaten up by the bike at all, and I've pretty much got these set up in the worst case scenario. I'm running 25mm GP 5000s with TPU tubes pumped up to a rock hard 90 PSI, and yeah, they've been spot on. I think some of that is owed to the fact they've got a nice wide 24mm internal rim width. So these 25mm tyres are definitely blowing up quite a bit wider than just a 25. But I think if you set them up tubeless with something like a 30 or a 32, you'd have a super smooth ride feel actually. And I think they'd work brilliant with that. And that's probably what I'm going to end up doing down the line. I was just so eager to get out on these wheels that I didn't want to waste time faffing with tubeless sealant when I had a lot of training to do this weekend. Next up, I want to talk some of the potential drawbacks that come from buying a sort of a no-name brand set of wheels like this. At least a company is putting a name to them, whoever this Kore brand are, but to be honest with you, I haven't really seen them very much on AliExpress before. They seem to only sell a couple of sets of wheels and there aren't a ton of reviews on AliExpress. I have no idea what their sort of after-sales support is like if you did run into any issues. Whereas the Farsports that I've been running before on my time, and I keep comparing these wheels to, you know, I bought them off Panda Podium, and Farsports themselves both would provide excellent after-sales service if I did have any problems. However, so far so good. I've not had any issues, but yeah, I'm a light 65 kilo rider. If I was 100 kilos, would I trust a random set of carbon spoked AliExpress wheels that are ultra lightweight? Probably not. I'm probably sticking to some safer big name brands. But for me, I don't mind taking a bit of a risk. And yeah, I think this gamble has really paid off. But who knows how long they're going to last and whether the quality is a bit iffy and they're going to deteriorate a lot faster than a more premium set of wheels like the Farsports. However, at just £350, I think I could afford to replace these twice and still have change in my pocket versus a set of them Farsports. And this is where I want to come on to the sort of value conversation. As I just said, you could pretty much have 3 sets of these wheels for the same price of a set of these Farsports Evo S5s, and as I keep saying, the specs are incredibly similar. They both have a very similar profiled 50mm deep rim, same internal rim width. They both use carbon bladed spokes. Now I think the Farsport spokes are slightly more aggressively bladed, but not much in it there. Pretty much bang on the same weight. And the Farsports have a little bit of a fancier hub design. Is it basically just a cheap knockoff of the Farsports? I reckon that's what they were aiming for. But I can understand why someone would pick an already very good value and well-reviewed set of wheels like these Farsports over the Kores, as you're getting a big name brand, after-sales support, and I do think these definitely are slightly better made than the Kores. But I haven't cut these open, I haven't put a microscope in the rim beds, you know, I'm just going out there, doing what I know best, riding a bike, fast up climbs. So if you want to get yourself a pair of these Kore wheels, I keep talking about them costing 350 quid, but actually, at the minute with the AliExpress sales, if you use the right stack of coupon codes, I think I managed to get them down to about 310, 320 pounds, which is just mind-blowing. So I will leave them linked below along with my coupon codes. Just remember, if you do buy them with my links and codes, I will be getting a small commission that helps to support the channel. I've really enjoyed my time riding these wheels, pun not intended. So yeah, they will be featuring on an upcoming build that I am super excited for. As you're gonna see in a video later this week, I've been dabbling a little bit and doing some crit racing again. And yeah, the crash risk, far too high to take my sort of pride and joy time out duez to a crit. So I am building up a super cheap crit race bike, and I think these wheels will be the perfect fit. So make sure you do not miss that project and get yourself subscribed. Remembering, channel members get early access on upcoming videos. That is all we've got time for today. If you want to check out a set of these Kore wheels, as I said before, I'm leaving links in the description below, and I'll see you all in the next one.